Hey friends, welcome or welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, I'm Angie and I enjoy sharing different projects we have going on around our home. In today's video, I'm going to take you along with me as I go thrifting. We're going to see what we can find and then we're going to come back home and I'm going to style some of those items in our home and just show you how I use thrifted decor in our home. Should be a fun video. Thrifting is always fun and I just love to check out and see what they have every week. So starting the lamps. Lamps are one of my favorite things to buy at the thrift store. I love just the soft glow of lamp light, and so I add them wherever I can in our home. I try to check out my favorite thrift stores at least once a week, and most of the time I go in looking for a certain thing, and I have different things on my list that I'm always looking for, and one of those is brass, and I'm always on the hunt for special linens and glassware. I love to pick up glassware. And then another thing that I like to look for is anything that I can deconstruct and make it into something else. I love to create things from thrift store items and just upcycle them. But today I'm just really looking for interesting objects that I can display on shelves. I'm also looking for pieces that I can use for entertaining guests and really any antiques or vintage items that may be in the thrift store today. Thrifting is a great way to style your home on a budget, and you can also get that collected look, which is what I strive to do in our home. If you're new to thrifting and you're a little overwhelmed, I do have a free thrifting ebook that I'll link in the description box below, and it just gives you some of my tips to help make your thrifting trip a success. My number one piece of advice for thrifting is to go often. The thrift stores put out items all day long, and so if you go often, you can find more things and just learn their schedule for when they put out new items on the shelves. And it's just good to go and just check out and see what's new for you to choose from. One of the things that I love about thrifting is it forces me to think outside the box. So when I see an item on the thrift store shelf, I'm wondering, is there a way that I can use this instead of for its intended purpose? And so it just sparks creativity for me, and it's so much fun to look at the items in a different light and just wonder what I can do with it. Like these pattern pieces, I think that it would be so fun to buy a few of these and use the pattern pieces as tissue paper in your gift wrapping. You would have an element of surprise to the person that receives your gifts, and I think it would be so much fun. I love this little dog, and I'm always on the hunt for little figurines like this to add to a vignette. I think that it has an English cottage look, which is what I'm going for in our home, and I just love the look of him. One of my favorite sections in the thrift store are the dishes. And I had told y'all in an earlier video that I'm on the hunt for some plates to use on a plate wall. So I'm looking for a certain color and a certain style, but you can tell in this video how I gravitate toward the stripes. And I don't want to use stripes on my plate wall, but I think that they would be pretty for entertaining, and they would be so pretty for a patriotic tablescape. They had so many dishes in this thrift store on this day, and I absolutely loved this look here. This was not the color that I was looking for, but this is the style that I'm looking for my plate wall. So I know that I'll find them. I just got to keep looking and just visiting thrift stores and seeing what I can find. But I loved this green color on this plate, and I think that these were made in Holland, and I just love the look of them, and they're so unique, which is what I'm on the hunt for. If you're ever on the hunt for dishes, I encourage you to visit your thrift store because they have a large selection of dishes, and most of the time it's a full set. It's a really good price, and you can just mix and match the patterns, or you can just use one pattern. But thrift stores are a great way to set up your home if you're on a budget, and you can get beautiful plates. You just pop them in the dishwasher and they're just as good as new for a fraction of the price of brand new dishes. I really like the look of these plates, and fruit is very trendy in home decor right now. These are definitely for a kitchen, which is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for our den, and these are not the colors I'm looking for, but I think that these will be beautiful displayed on a plate wall. There are an overabundance of mugs at thrift stores. I really like the look of these, the white and then the navy blue stripe around the top. I think that they would be so beautiful displayed near a coffee bar. And thinking outside the box, I thought this was a really neat mug, and it has Bahamas on the front of it, which I don't like that look, but you could always turn it around and display the back and put a plant in it, or display your favorite pens or your art pencils, anything like that that you could display in a beautiful cup that would look like a vase when you turn the handle around to the back. I'm also always on the hunt for wreaths to use around our home. Wreaths are very expensive, and so I always keep my eyes open for wreaths that I can display, or I can just deconstruct them and use the items on the wreath in a different way. So they had 3 here, none that I was really interested in, but just always check out the wreaths and see if you can use the items in a different way in your decor. Another section in the thrift store that I always like to check out is the art section. I'm always on the hunt for beautiful art and beautiful picture frames, but they don't always come together like that. This one is a unique piece because I love everything about it. I love the subtle colors of it and the gold frame with the off-white mat. I think that this is a very pretty picture, but I couldn't think of anywhere in my home that I could use it, so I left it behind for someone else to enjoy, but I thought it was a beautiful piece of art. But keep in mind, if you like the frame but you don't like the print inside, you can always change out that print. I love to download art from my favorite Etsy shop, and I'll put a link below for that, plus a 70% off coupon code for anything in their shop for you to enjoy. I loved the look of this basket. I think that it would be so pretty to take out to your garden and cut some flowers and lay them in this basket to bring them inside your home and display the flowers in vases. The next section that I like to check out when I'm at the thrift store is the linen section. And I'll give you a tip about this part of the thrift store. When I'm looking at bed linens or pillowcases or placemats, I'm always thinking outside the box because I see this as yards of fabric. And I can take the pretty fabric and make other things with it. Sometimes I use this as for its intended purpose, but a lot of times I just take it and use the fabric. And fabric is pretty expensive, but when you're at the thrift store and you buy these linens, you can get them for $1, $2 a piece. So it's a very economical way to pick out fabric, and they have some beautiful prints. These placemats stood out to me today because, first of all, they have stripes, and I think stripes are perfect for the summer season. And I also love the lace trim. You could use these for their intended purpose, or you could make something beautiful out of them. So always keep that in mind because these cost $1 for 4 of them. And before I leave the thrift store, I always like to check out the basket selection. I love to pick these up to use all over our home, but today I didn't find anything in the basket section. So now we'll head home. I'll show you my finds, and then I will style them in our home to show you how I use all of these thrifted finds in our home decor. So the first thing I picked up when I was at the thrift store was this little dog figurine. I am going for an English cottage look in our home, and I thought that he would be perfect added to a vignette, and he was only 99¢, and so I think he's going to be perfect in our home. So the next thing that I found and brought home with me was this set of coasters. It is a set of 5, and the patina on these is so great. They have the cut glass bottom, and the rim on these, some are gold and some are silver, but a good friend of mine has a set of these, and I've always admired them. So I was so excited to find these. I love how the sun reflects the glass, and these are going to be so beautiful styled in our home. This next item is probably my favorite thing that I found at the thrift store today. It is this wicker lampshade. I love to find these at the thrift store, but they are very hard to find. And this one was just sitting on the shelf just by itself in the wrong section. So I think somebody had picked it up and then maybe changed their mind. But I love to add these to our lamps to add added texture to our home. So the last thing I picked up on this thrifting trip were these placemats. I showed these to you in the shop with me portion of the video, and they were too good to leave behind. I love the red stripes, I love the lace trim, and this is going to be part of a DIY in a future video, so make sure you stay tuned for that because it is going to be a fun one. Now let's style some of these items that I found at the thrift store today. And to do that, I'm going to use this lamp that I thrifted several weeks ago. I'm not sure if I showed it on the channel, but I've had it for a while and it doesn't have a lampshade. But I think that this wicker lampshade is going to be perfect on it. The base of this lamp is a very shiny off-white, and so I think the contrast of the wicker is going to be perfect for it. And this wicker lampshade is the perfect brown color, and I'm just adding this finial that I thrifted a few months ago. I'm adding it to the top, and I love the shape of this shade with this round lamp, and I'm just going to add it to our built-ins over here on the side just to add some added texture and some color. And then I'm adding mostly thrifted items to this tray just to kind of fill it in and just make a little vignette over here. I still need to get a picture for this frame, but this is just to give you an idea of how I style vignettes in our home. Now I'm going to use some of my thrifted decor on this side table. I'm adding this basket that I found at TJ Maxx a couple years ago, and I'm adding my favorite blue and green thrifted books, and that blue and white lamp was also found on Facebook Marketplace, so it's thrifted also. And then my plant that I added to this brass planter that was thrifted, the plant loves it in this location. And then that sweet little dog, I'm just adding it to the book. And then I'm adding these coasters right here so that they can reflect the sun that's coming in the window. And I love how this turned out. And then I had a couple of these coasters left over, so I added them to the sunroom so that we can put our drinks on these coasters when we're in here enjoying each other's company. And I also love them in here with all of the brass and the blue and white and the wood on the lamp. They just are so beautiful in here, and they add a little touch of elegance to this room. Well, friends, that about wraps up this video. I hope that it has inspired you, and just to encourage you that you can have a beautiful home while on a budget. Just check out your local thrift stores and think outside the box, and you can have a collected, beautiful home on a budget. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to our channel, please hit that subscribe button, and you can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and our blog, Our Contented Home. Look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye.